Hey everybody, welcome to an NFL Draft edition of the Takeoff podcast. We appreciate you listening, and please subscribe for free to this podcast wherever you listen to them. We're going to be joined here by Howie Roseman, the Eagles' first-round pick Jordan Davis, and Eagles draft expert Ross Tucker. The Birds traded up to get Jordan Davis in the first round, one of a record 5 Georgia defensive players taken in the first round. And of course, in the second round, they got a center, Cam Jurgens. In the third round, they got linebacker Nakobe Dean from Georgia. This was a steal if he's healthy. A lot of people thought he'd go in the first round, but he dropped to the third round probably over concerns with his pec muscle, his knee, and his shoulder. Howie Roseman says no surgery is scheduled, and Nakobe will be there for the rookie minicamp this coming weekend. And of course, the big move. They got one of the top 8 or top 10 receivers in football, A.J. Brown. If you were to line up all the receivers in this draft and A.J. Brown, you'd probably take A.J. Brown as the first receiver taken in the draft, or second. But we are now on the clock. Let's break down this draft. All right, let's welcome in Eagles general manager Howie Roseman. And originally you had around 10 picks. You wound up drafting 5 players, and then you have A.J. Brown. Big, huge trade. I know you like numbers, but were you also searching for a few players, transformational players that could change the fortunes of this franchise?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. When you start with 3 first-round picks, and then, obviously we make the trade and we defer one to next year with that second-round pick 2 years from now, you sit there and you want impact. We wanted impact out of this draft, and really we started this offseason saying if we can get like 4 or 5 players that really are good starters and then add to that group of core players that we have on this team, we'll really improve this football team. And I think that when we look at where we are now versus when we left the field in Tampa, I think we're a better team. Obviously, we got to go out and prove that, and to the extent that we're better, that'll be proven as we go through the offseason program, into training camp, and into the season.
You've been doing this for 2 decades, and when you're in the draft room and you're trading up for Jordan Davis, a player like him, simultaneously you're on the phone trying to work out a deal with A.J. Brown's agents. Take me through the timeline of that and how exhilarating those moments were.
Yeah, I think that, part of the things that we have to do is we have to balance multiple things here. And I think that, as you're watching the draft and you're seeing picks go off, and you kind of have a natural deadline because, this trade's got to be done by the time that we're on the clock when we're 18, or obviously the whole thing changes. You got multiple things going on, but I feel like we handle that. We can handle that as a staff, and obviously we had a plan going into this draft. So once we got to the point where we saw how the board was going, you get on the phone with Houston, who we had talked to about possible trades before. So as we talked about last week, it wasn't the first conversation. We knew when we got on the phone with Houston, our guys there, here's the trade. Let's roll. Let's get back on the phone. Let's finish this deal and get A.J. Brown and make him an Eagle. And certainly coming out with those type of players, those type of people from the first round made us feel really good. And I think a lot of these drafts, when you look at the anchor position, which is that Thursday is the anchor position in a draft, and coming out with that anchor position of having Jordan Davis, having A.J. Brown, having a first round pick next year too, you feel good about Thursday. And then we come back, on Friday, and a lot of possibilities when you're sitting there and you're waiting for the 19th pick. And obviously, we don't have a lot of picks to kind of go move up, but we also felt pretty good about where we were picking. And we knew that in any circumstance, we get a really good player. And we want to be strong along the line of scrimmage. How many times do you hear me say that, right? But we think that's what wins football games. And for us, you look at it and you look kind of where we are going forward, and we don't want to have a situation where we have 2 or 3 holes along our offensive line all at once. And we believe in Cam Jurgens as a player. We understand that last year, 10 guys started for us, not even counting the 5 different guys that started in the last game on the offensive line. And, the quickest to lose games is to lose the line of scrimmage. So getting Cam, and then, certainly coming back and getting Nakobe and the kind of player and person he is, made us feel really good when we left last night. And then we come back and we got to sit out around, and that's hard. That's hard. There's times where I kind of think maybe I should just take a walk around so we don't do too many things in the future. But we had to pay that price. We had to pay that price for the things that we did. And we have a loop of our first 3 rounds and A.J. Brown going in the back of the draft. So anytime I kind of had the itch to trade into the back in the future, I just turn around and go, that was a great play by A.J. Man, Jordan Davis is big and physical and explosive. Yeah, Cam Jurgens. He's a great athlete. Nakobe Dean. All right, I'm good. So
these are foundational pieces.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
How much was Jalen Hurts in your ear about A.J. Brown, and how much did you want to give Jalen every possible tool to help him show he can be a franchise quarterback here?
Yeah, Jalen has so much confidence in the players that are around him. So I don't want to make it that Jalen's going, I need this for me to be better, because Jalen has a tremendous belief in his teammates. So I don't want this notion to be like Jalen saying, I need A.J. Brown for me to get better, because he never said that. Obviously he had a relationship with him, and he was excited to add him to the team. But for us, it was about who A.J. Brown was, right? And A.J. Brown, the piece that he was adding to our football team, and how he complemented the pieces that we had in putting together a complete team. And that's what we're trying to do here. And we still got a lot of work to do, but we got a lot of time to do it too. So this is not the end. This is just part of the off-season process. And, still, I think we'll come in on Monday and we'll take tomorrow off, if that's okay. And
Philly will allow that, I think.
Thank you. And then we'll come back in Monday and we'll look at the depth chart and we'll say, all right, here's the next order of business. Like, we got to improve these spots.
You've talked about taking risks. Nakobe Dean, a lot of teams and general managers says we're not going to take him specifically because of the pec, the shoulder, the knee, and things like that. Why do you have the confidence that he can be healthy? Because he's a steal if healthy.
Yeah, I don't know that there were all these teams that weren't going to take Nakobe Dean. I think that, just talking to people around the league today, everyone knows what kind of player he is. I think that, for us, when we looked at it, we didn't have an issue if we would have taken him in the second round the way things felt. Like, that was a possibility for us. And we came back in the third round. The only thing that changed was there was more drama to it, right? Because obviously you have this great player who isn't being picked. And so people kind of take on this narrative. Maybe it's even worse than we thought. And that affects you a little bit. And you kind of go and you double check and you triple check. And it's like the information hasn't changed. And all I know is that kid is going to come in with the biggest chip on his shoulder, that Philly's ever seen. And I think we're going to benefit from that.
Final question for you. How much have you gotten more comfortable with your coaches actually seeing what they want to do with their players on the field? How did that help the signing or bringing in Jordan Davis and then also the other moves and getting A.J. Brown?
Yeah, John, that's a great point. Being with them for a year and seeing how it looks, seeing how they want it to look, hearing describe the things that are going on after games. I think it's a huge benefit to our front office, to our scouts, so we can describe kind of what is ideal here. At the same time, too, they trust us to give them talent. And, if there's some difference of opinion of, maybe they had this guy ranked 5th and this guy ranked 3rd, they're like, we trust you, just like, we're not in their ear on what play to call on 2nd or 3rd down. I think the relationship in the building is great. There's a lot of chemistry here. There's a lot of juice and energy. Maybe not as much on Saturday night right after the draft. But I think we're excited. But at the same time, we know we got a lot of work to do to get where we really want to be.
All right. Well, we'll see you at rookie minicamp because the
Can't wait.
NFL schedule keeps moving. See you next weekend.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, Howie. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
All right, Jordan Davis, it is a pleasure to meet you and talk to you. Give us the reaction that you had when you got that phone call that you were being drafted by the Eagles.
It was unbelievable. You get that phone call, you hear about it, the anxiety. The longer it goes, the more anxiety you have, and it's just pressure. But when you get that phone call, it's a sigh of relief. And hearing Howie on that phone and just knowing that they traded up for me, it's crazy. It's a crazy feeling.
When you came to Philly and visited the Eagles, what were your perceptions? What was your feeling about the city and the team from your visit?
It was great. I felt like it was a family-oriented type thing. I knew that the main thing was winning games and just making sure that the players was all right. And just off the field, I knew I was going to be okay. On the field, I know it was going to take care of itself. So I'm just ready to get out there and see the people.
So you were a basketball player, I can see. Why did you decide to go with football?
Look, I get the rebounds, but I don't score the points. That's not good enough for a basketball player. But, I just say, well, if I'm getting rebounds and blocks, I might as well just go to football and be a defensive lineman. So the journey as a defensive lineman started in high school, and here we are. We got to this point.
When you line up across guys, when you see them on the offensive line, is your whole mentality to dominate?
Definitely. Do my job. That's it. Do my job. I don't want to do anything more. I don't want to do anything less. I just want to do my job.
And they talk about nose tackles and other guys playing defensive tackles. Sometimes they take the double teams. It allows somebody else to get the sack. Did you see the Eagles Super Bowl with Fletcher Cox getting the double team? Yeah. Brandon Graham gets a sack, and you're cool with that?
I always say 2 on me, somebody's free. That's the mentality I had at Georgia, and that's the mentality I'm going to take to Philly.
And how is it that your mom is apparently an Eagles fan? Is that true?
It is. My mom's a huge Eagles fan, so she's pumped. I can't wait to see her. She's really riled up, so definitely I feel at home already. I know the city's going to embrace me, and I'm ready to go there and open my arms.
How did she become an Eagles fan?
She's been an Eagles fan since ever I can remember, so
really?
Yeah, so I can't really tell you.
So would she have the Eagles on TV on Sundays?
Yeah. So I had to watch my games upstairs because it would just be Philadelphia Eagles downstairs. So, regardless, I know she's excited. I'm excited, and I'm just ready to get out there and work.
To wrap this up, I hear you have a personality that's even bigger than your stature.
I wouldn't say that. Say that. I'm trying to keep it cool, I'm trying to keep it cool. But I guess when I get to Philly and the fans will understand, they'll see.
Is there anything that you want Philly to know about you as a person and things you enjoy?
Look, I love music. I want to try a cheesesteak. I want to try a real Philly cheesesteak. I heard that they got the best, but I haven't been to Philly to actually try the cheesesteak, but that's one of the things I do want to try.
They're going to be lining up
for
you to eat them, so they'll send them to you.
So bring your best, because I'm ready.
All right, we are now joined by Eagles draft expert and preseason analyst Ross Tucker. And Ross, 5 players drafted, but you got to throw in A.J. Brown. Do you think they were going for transformational difference makers that can be part of building blocks for Super Bowl instead of numbers?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned A.J. Brown because he absolutely is part of this draft class, and that's exactly what he is. He is a transformational difference-making player. Look, all these kids that get drafted for every team, they're all a projection. We have high hopes. We have excitement. A.J. Brown is a known commodity. He's one of the 5 or 6 best receivers in the NFL right now. We know that. We don't have to guess.
Specifically for Jalen Hurts and the offense and what Nick Sirianni wants to do, does this make the offense whole as an explosive offense?
No question. For 2 reasons, right? So number 1, I think he's the perfect complement for Devontae Smith, right? Devontae Smith's more the route runner, smooth. A.J. Brown is 6'1", almost 230 pounds. I mean, he is a physical, run after the catch, slants, in-breaking routes. He's a perfect complement for what they have in Devontae Smith. Plus, now, imagine how the Eagles' running game was last year. Now, Jalen Hurts can pull the ball and throw that slant to A.J. Brown. Good luck to the backside linebacker. Good luck to the safeties, because if you go downhill for the run, you're going to be late on A.J. Brown. If you wait on A.J. Brown, you're going to be late for the run.
How about on the defensive side of the ball? Jordan Davis, a mountain of a man. Does he fit what Jonathan Gannon wants to do on defense?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Jonathan Gannon likes having 2 deep safeties. Remember last year at times, the Eagles would let teams run on them a little bit more than people liked or were used to because they don't want to give up big, explosive plays in the passing game. Jordan Davis essentially can control 2 gaps, at least with how big he is. So you don't have to bring the extra defender in to stop the run. I think that's a big reason why they got him. That allows them to play the defense Gannon likes to play.
And Nakobe Dean, he fell into the Eagles' laps in round 3. Does he also fit behind his Georgia teammate Jordan Davis, what they want to do with that defense?
Well, by the way, how happy do you think Nakobe Dean is that he's going to the same team as Jordan Davis? I mean, if you watched Georgia last year, Nakobe Dean is just running free everywhere because Jordan Davis eating 3 dudes. But the thing that's so impressive to me about Nakobe Dean, on a team that had 5 guys on defense go in the first round, Nakobe Dean's the one that stood out. I mean, he's the one that won the Butkus Award. He's the one that was unanimous All-American. He's the one that had 6.5 sacks and 10.5 tackles for loss. I mean, he was the most productive guy. To be the most decorated guy on that defense says a lot about Nakobe Dean.
Overall, when retooling this team, it seems like it's not just this year, but also next year, because all the Eagle fans are asking, hey, who is going to be in our secondary when the season starts? Do you think they specifically drafted on best player available? You see the center they got, Cam Jurgens, and we're going to find a way to get it done in free agency with the secondary.
Yeah, but we've seen that other years. I mean, when did they sign Steven Nelson last year? July or whatever it was, right before training camp. He had a really solid, nice year. The roster building process is not over. There can be trades. You can get free agents. You can get guys off the waiver wire. You don't need to worry about the roster until it's week 1. Like, let's see what this season is. When the season starts, I think any perceived holes, John, they will fill.
All right, your favorite part of this whole draft and the process, your biggest moment, what was the thing that stood out to you?
Oh, well, Jordan Davis. I mean, he was my favorite player in college football. If you listen to any of my shows, I wanted Jordan Davis to win the Heisman. I love the guy. They're not making anybody else like him, John. He's 6'6", 340 runs a 4.7 40. I am so excited that you and I will get to watch him in the preseason and all year.
And the preseason is only like 3.5 months away.
I know.
We look forward to seeing you on those broadcasts.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks a lot, Ross.
Greatest. Oh, mom, so flagrant.